All right, we are here, Fun Football Podcast. This is the Micah Parsons show. No, I'm kidding, but that is going to be one of the main topics of tonight's show. I'm with Fun Football Podcast, and I held off on Friday's show and bringing it up, so I'm very excited for this. I've got my buddy Med. I like the shade, like the glasses, man. It's a good look. I like it.
Yeah. I'm learning that I'm getting older, and they basically said, "Hey, it's time for you to have the progressive eyeglasses." So, yep, here you go. I even got the stylish ones with some teal and orange on them, but you can't really tell right now with the camera. So,
hey, you'll appreciate this. I've had a cold, and I feel like I tore both my rotator cuffs. So I'm like, getting old sucks. I'm not a fan at all. I've had a sinus infection for the last couple of days. Thanks for carrying the show. I thought it's because you didn't want me to see your eyes so much while we talk about Micah. I thought that might be
the hide the tears.
Yes, to hide the tears.
The PTSD.
Med's joining because we brought Brady back. It's been a minute. He's hopped on twice, I believe. This is number 3.
I was going to say this is an annual thing right here.
Yeah, hey, let's keep rolling with it. Yeah.
And this is you're capping off a pretty awesome first month. I'll recap some of the people in a minute, but Brady, can you tell everybody where to find you? What I know you talk all about the Packers, but just share for everybody on the other platforms what you're all about with Packer Nation.
Yeah, well, we're at facebook.com/Green Bay Packer Nation, and Instagram is at the Green Bay Packer Nation. And we are talking Packers as we have as of next year. It will be our 20th anniversary. So we're going to be rolling out some stuff next year. Probably bringing hot cheese back. And I am, as of this fall, starting to shoot the Pack-a-Bon videos that I've been talking about for many, many years. So yeah, lots of stuff. We've been, I've had a little bit of kind of basically taken a little bit of this off season off, to be honest, and kind of recharge a little bit. But yeah, and then we start rolling into this. I'm ready to get going. I'm about to get on the road. I'm headed out west and get news that Micah Parsons is coming to the Packers, which just kind of I can't think of a better way to kick the season off, to be quite honest. Not only the vacuum it creates for Thursday night and the Cowboys, but for Green Bay.
It's Med's favorite thing. We just got better. Med loves this. This is great for him. He called to congratulate me, and he was like, "Dude, that's amazing." And I was like, "Heck yeah, it is."
So happy. Yeah.
I don't think we could have made a better move. Like, honestly, if you'd cherry picked all the players in the NFL, I don't think we could have made a better move. But really quick, I got to hit my sponsors really quick. Thank you to Undefeated Live. Go sign up with code FUNFOOTBALLPOD. It's really cool. They've got daily trivia games. It's in the scroll bar below, but it's at Undefeated Live, the app, or you can check them out on Twitter. They've got weekly contests, daily trivia, but they've got a weekly pick'em and a season-long pick'em. Art is a really cool guy. Med's met him. He'll be hopping on the show later in September. Very cool guy. And also Sportcoin, the world's first decentralized cryptocurrency. Check it out on X at sportcoin.1 or sportcoin1, and they're on Deck Screener as well. So there are the sponsors. Okay. Well, I mean, I had a lot of ways I want to go with this, but
I just almost had to say, I think Micah Parsons just got about 188 million sport coins.
The funniest meme that my wife sent me was the I can't remember if it's Rush Hour 1 or 2, but it's a guy on TikTok, and I'm sure he's on Instagram too. But he's like, how do you want the money? He's like, I want 50. He's like, I want 10 million in 20 in 50s, 10 million in 20s, and 10 million. And he's like breaking it down. It's freaking hilarious because we did pay a fortune. I've had some people like the Luka thing, even though it's different, go the route that this is a good deal for the Cowboys. If you were going to play devil's advocate, what is the reasoning for this other than I think just Jerry's ego? I've got a lot of thoughts. I'll go last. Brady, since you're the guest, and I want to be fair to Med, and Med's a guest as well. But Brady, why do you think this happened?
Because of Jerry's ego. Yeah, I mean, the explanation they gave was, it was so, okay, yes, you can build for the future. You can do that with a couple of first-round draft choices. They've got, I think, a total of 4. The thing that none of them are willing to factor in. And I don't think the fan base, I'm not real high on the intelligence quotient of the Cowboys fan base, but I think they're smart enough to know that, you're probably picking, if the Packers have their way, you're going to be picking number 32 twice in a row on those.
Yeah.
At worst, though, you're generally speaking knowing you're going to pick at 20 plus. This is the same reason I said when the Khalil Mack trade, the Packers were in on Khalil Mack. But if you're the Bears and you have draft stock that is expected to be so much more valuable, you generally don't get those trades. And that's part of the reason I was honestly, the smoke was there for me, but I just didn't think it was going to happen. Yeah. But, and so then it does. And you hear, Jerry Jones try to basically, in my opinion, cover his tracks. The thing that I think that they can do, they may package these picks, and he alluded to that in the press conference. And if they take them, if you've got 4, first rounders, you can use one, package a couple, you can use 2, package a couple. And maybe they have their eyes on Arch Manning at some point. They've got quarterback dilemmas that they're going to have to deal with at some point if Dak doesn't get them there. That's probably the most realistic, because yes, Kenny Clark is a great player. Yes, they suck. The interior of their line sucks. But no, you don't trade a generational edge rusher for that. So yes, the 2 first rounders kind of hurt. The money for the Packers hurts. But this guy is something special. And the Green Bay Packers, for all the people that say we don't make these trades, I think we make the smart ones. Mm-hmm. And this guy is a smart trade.
I can't remember a trade this big. I mean, they signed Reggie White, they signed Woodson. I don't remember a trade for a player of this value.
Brett Favre was a first rounder. That's
the closest thing. Yeah. And at the time, we didn't know Brett Favre was going to be this good. So
exactly.
At the time of the trade, this is probably the biggest trade maybe in the franchise history in terms of trades. Brady, I'm with you. I think it's Jerry's ego. And I think here's my counter. I have a buddy who's a Cowboys fan. I love him. He's a really good guy. We play Call of Duty together all the time. He's in 3 fantasy leagues with me. I love him. I've known him for years. But I made the counter argument to him because he was kind of happy about it after the fact. And I was like, if Jerry had just negotiated correctly, if he was going to play GM, they wouldn't have been in this pickle, because he waited too long with Dak twice, CD, and then Micah, and he didn't want to pony up on the defensive side of the ball, and he wanted to circumvent the agent. If they'd just done this in like a typical 2020s fashion, not 1990s, I think you're looking at Micah Parsons as a Cowboy. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be a number 1 jersey soon, very soon. But I feel bad for Cowboys fans and Dallas fans in general, because they've had to deal with this twice this year. That's unprecedented, with Luka, and it made no sense, and then Micah, and it made no sense. I also, like, Ned, what worst case on the draft picks? What do you think? Like, even if the Packers had a plethora of injuries, missed the playoffs, they're probably, that pick is at worst like what, best like for the Cowboys 20, 18 if Jordan Love was hurt for the whole season. Like,
well, I mean, you look at some of the simple facts. I mean, you look at how the team actually transformed last season. It's no longer really a passing team. Y'all ran 52.3% of the run y'all's plays last year on offense. So it's going to go through your running game, and you do have the running backs. You have a deep roster, and really and truthfully, y'all kind of doubled down on it with the addition with Banks on the offensive line. But as far as the pick goes, you're looking at, like, I agree with Brady 100%. I mean, you're looking at the lower third of the first round on both of those picks at the very worst, if not at the very bottom of the 32nd pick in the first round. This is the Khalil Mack, what it did for our defense back in 2016 when Khalil Mack came into the Chicago Bears. And it's just, this is like a coup. Mm-hmm. You're going to transform a defense that was already starting to get better as time went on, and you're going to elevate them from a good defense to an elite defense just basically overnight by just adding this guy. And what a nightmare it's going to be for opposing offensive coordinators to have to deal with the pass rush that is Micah Parsons and Rashard Gary. I mean, that's going to definitely opening up one-on-one matchups for both of those guys, not just them, but also Wyatt and your boy Nazir in the middle.
Oh, I really like the Nazir pickup. Like Brady, I don't want to take up too much time on this show talking about Nazir Stackhouse. I don't know if he's even going to start for us, but I think that he has the potential to be pretty good. He was somebody me and Med both liked. But what this is going to do for the Packers defense, this trade, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm expecting a Super Bowl this year, because when we signed Reggie White, Brady, you'll have to correct me. I was busy working earlier. It took us 3 seasons before we won. It was the 4th season we won the Super Bowl. We got Reggie White. We didn't instantly win the Super Bowl. We kept running into the Cowboys.
Yep. Right. It was the Dallas again. Yeah. Yep.
It was them back then. That's the last time they were legit. And it took us, what's up, Jason? It took us to that 4th year. I'm not expecting this to instantly transform our roster. We still got some other holes. We need to see if Devontae Wyatt and the other defensive tackle can pan. Our cornerback room is a little thin. Edgerrin Cooper, I mean, he's a 2nd-year player. He still needs to improve. But what it does for your defense when you have to focus on one guy that much, and you've got him Xavier McKinney in the back, that's pretty special. The guy I'm most excited for what it's going to do is Rashawn Gary, because now he can't get double teamed. He's going to have one-on-ones. So, okay, I need to pan this into a question. Which player do you think it's going to benefit the most on the defense, Micah Parsons' presence, once he's playing 100%? He's a little banged up right now.
Well, I mean, it would be hard to argue against, Rashawn Gary, who, has shown flashes of dominance and has since college, part of the reason he was critiqued and basically people were a little down on him was quote unquote productivity, which generally speaking means sack count, period. And there wasn't really any in that evaluation understanding that teams from the time Rashawn Gary was in college, teams needed to pick him out, double him up, chip him, do the things they needed to do to take him out of the game, or they knew they wouldn't have much of a chance. And in the NFL, it seemed to be a lot of the same. And he's been hurt a little bit, but yeah, he's a guy that you do not want singled up. And you watch, this is where the big word for me for Micah Parsons is gravity. Is he is that wrinkle in time that he's that black hole that everything's going to want to have to fall into. And you watch him get faced up with an offensive lineman, chipped by a tight end, and then the guard makes a wrong decision just because it's Micah Parsons. And I got to make sure he doesn't kill us. And man, yeah, I mean, Rashawn Gary, I mean, there's you could literally say the entire defensive backfield too is going to be beneficial and benefiting in this too. Batted balls from either one of these guys, the disruption that could be caused on the back end is fodder for interceptions, which early in the season in particular, the Packers were incredibly good at. And these are game-changing plays that don't necessarily amount to sack counts. But then you've got a cat that is right up there with Reggie White with 12 sacks each of these first years. And I will say, I do expect the Packers defense to be transformed and absolutely dominant right out of the gate. I understand we've got to fill, Kenny Clark's spot role, but he was hurt last year. And man, we filled Jair Alexander's spot pretty okay too. We're in the 2nd year of this defense. And for my money right now, the thing that I am most excited about, and maybe I'm getting a little bit off topic, but it goes to Rashawn Gary. And especially since Parsons has just come into town, the sky's the limit with what we can do with him, but it is limited what we can do with him come Sunday and in the first couple of weeks. But all that to say, what did Hafley say that the goal of this defense was this year? He said, we want to be the best disguise defense in the National Football League. You add Micah Parsons to that picture, and that is scary as you know what. I can't say it on, your podcast, but that is scary. So So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks that are going to benefit. And then you can talk about the guys that are going to get reps that have to step up for Kenny Clark, too. Devontae Wyatt is going to have to show that he is worth that first round draft choice. And like you mentioned, there's guys you like, there's guys the Packers like. I expect Carl Brooks to be in there, too. And,
I'm thinking so. I don't know if it's going to be him or Wooden starting. It looks like Wooden, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, or Wooden. And the thing is, week one, this is just the fact of the matter. Week one, they're going to have to be rotating in deep defensive tackles and still in the process of figuring it out. Detroit could very well take advantage of that at times. They've got a pretty solid 1-2 punch in Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs as well. So I don't expect things to go entirely smoothly the first week. But I do think that there are very few excuses for this Packers defense to be anything short of dominant after being top 10 in just about every category, 5 in some last year.
This is all great news for Med. Med's loving all this. Okay. I want to not just to be fair to Med, and because I think it's kind of a fun discussion. Med, I want you to lead this one, okay? And Brady, that was a great breakdown. Wyatt is the other question mark for me, what it's going to do for him. I'm hoping that it also is transformative for Edgerrin Cooper because he was pretty solid as a blitzer as a rookie. So Edgerrin Cooper now, I mean, also if you put Parsons at linebacker occasionally, you'd have one of the fastest linebacking cores ever with Micah Parsons at a 4.39, Cooper not far behind. And then you still have Quay Walker who can fly. But okay, I have more Packer stuff, but I just want to we'll pivot to this. Med, what do you think it does for the Packers this season compared to the NFC North? And then we can take it to the conference. Where do you think they stack up in the division? Like I wanted to do it for this show. Brady, one of the things I wanted to do this show was rank the division, like how we think they're going to finish. Med, what do you think is going to happen in the NFC North this season if you had to predict it?
If I was to predict it.
Yeah.
I think it's y'all's division to lose at this point, because to be honest, I look at the playmakers that you have on each level. Talking about how Micah Parsons, who will benefit the most, I think Brady was correct. He basically briefly touched up on it. Is people are going to try, the quarterbacks are going to try to get the ball out quicker than what they should, and that's going to lead to a lot of turnovers. That's going to lead to interceptions, and not only that, you do have a stacked, like I said, defense. You got EJ in the mid, like at linebacker, you got Parsons up front with Gary, and then you got McKinney in the back. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 punch right there. And, really and truthfully, I think, it's one of the bigger ads that are going on right now. The only problem is if, a lot of people question if Matt LaFleur was a little too emotional with some of his decisions last year. And they said that a lot of people, especially Lindy Sports, has actually commented that they feel like that was his worst coaching expedition for the season. And
that's interesting.
I thought it was kind of interesting too. But it's going to help out immensely. It's going to keep the defense off the field because you're going to have a few more stops than you normally would, and then your offense, which is now, like I said earlier, geared more towards the run, and now you have Matthew Golden, who, with his 58 receptions last year for Texas, would have led the team in receptions this year for y'all. So, So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I really see y'all actually running away with this, especially with Detroit. Even though they do have a great 1-2 punch with Gibbs and Montgomery, I think that they lost so much on the sidelines that they're going to actually take a little bit of a step back.
And they lost a lot on that offensive line as well. I don't think week one it sucks because I'm not going to call week one a must win. It'd be really nice to pull it off, but it is Micah's first game. He may not even play. If he does, I bet he's limited to pass rushing situations, and Love's got to stay healthy. But I do think there's a good chance the Packers can win the division. I'd still put Philly as the cream of the crop in the NFC. Oh, yeah. It's their conference to lose. I don't trust Washington. I think it's Philly and then everybody else. And I think we're right there with Detroit, Washington, I think y'all, and Tampa, and maybe the Rams.
As far as the conference is concerned, I can see y'all at 2 right now. This trade really did boost you up to from the 7-6 spot all the way up to 3-2.
I love the aggressive offseason too. We never do this, Brady and Med. We did a couple things we haven't done either in 20 years or ever. We went for the receiver in the first round. We went for another one in the third round. We never do the first round draft pick at receiver, whether you agree with the guy. I think Golden could be really good. But we broke that philosophy, and then we broke the philosophy in getting aggressive for Micah from the get-go. We were hearing Micah to Green Bay, and nobody believed it because that always seems to happen, and then we never continue to stay aggressive with in getting the player, and then we actually landed him. It's kind of mind-blowing. Brady, what do you think? Do you think the Packers, it's the division to lose, or you still think it's Detroit's?
Well, I mean, part of me just philosophically always says, hey, listen, the guys that won it last year, those are the guys to beat. But I also at the same time, I think we all realize, and, Med, you got your quarterback now, you got Ben Johnson coaching this team. Things can change, like teams can change dramatically in one off season. So when I look at Detroit and 3 new starters on the interior of that line, and I think about, Rashawn Gary on the edge, potentially LVN on the edge, Micah Parsons at any place from the edge in between, Edger and Cooper as, Micah Parsons' gravity draws double team, stunting around that. I just feel like, and again, I'm with you, like, the most important thing in week 1 is to make sure Micah Parsons doesn't go out and do too much and hurt himself. Like I can take a loss. I'll hate it, but it's more important to have him for the stretch. But I really do think that there would be very few excuses for the Packers, regardless of the 1-5 record in division last season, to not do a whole lot better. And if the Lions would be considered the team to beat by winning it last season, I think we've got a chance to be a better team than them. And Med, you mentioned, this has been a stretch. And again, like even the mythos around the Packers not drafting round 1 wide receivers, the Packers desperately wanted Justin Jefferson. They couldn't get him. They had him so high. They wanted Justin Jefferson. Brandon Ayuk. The Packers wanted Brandon Ayuk. They couldn't get him. The way that it works out with Matthew Golden, I cannot imagine it being more picturesque and beautiful and cool, especially since we're missing Christian Watson. But I do think the Packers have had their eye on first round wide receivers a couple times in the past and just haven't been able to get them. Again, we're drafting a little later, but the other side of the Packers with the free agent is, yes, this is the biggest splash. I mean, you could say trading for Brett Favre was bigger. He was an unknown commodity. Ron Wolf just had to say, listen, country boy, we think you're going to be good. And I gave away a first rounder for you. This is a little different than that, but it's absolutely huge. But Brian Gutekunst brought in Josh Jacobs. He brought in Xavier McKinney. Micah Parsons isn't the only free agent, and obviously Micah is a trade, but he has had a track record of being in the mix, just like he promised, leaving no stone unturned. But it is so difficult and you heard Brian talk about it in his press conference. He's like, you go through the process with this, and at some point you generally figure you're going to feel like, okay, it's not going to happen. And he said, and in this case, at one point, I kind of felt like this might happen. And he went ahead and pursued it. He got Russ Ball to pay the man. He gave the draft picks that were necessary. He negotiated with Jerry Jones, who, I mean, my God, who would have thought Jerry Jones would send Micah Parsons to the Packers of all things? Who
must have loved Kenny Clark. He must have just been in love with Kenny Clark.
Yeah, well, and I do think we were in the right place at the right time because he absolutely needed. He was taking teams off the table if they didn't have a defensive tackle that he thought was worthy of that trade. So I think we got lucky in a little bit, but I think that trade makes all the difference for me. And again, we haven't seen the guy play yet, but I've seen him play. And you watch him come from behind and track down Jalen Hurts and drag him to the ground for a 0-yard sack. So I do have the Packers at number 1, and I'm a homer. So, just legitimately, I think the expectations should be for us to win the division.
That is one of our friends, Fanboys Unleashed. Thank you, buddy. And thank you, Janae, for watching. And Jason, I know Brady knows him.
Jason's here. I'll miss Kenny too.
I'm going to miss Kenny.
Well, Kenny also had arguably his worst year last year with only 1 sack and 37 tackles. So, he's already close to going. He's he's the cowboy riding into the sunset with his career, and you went and basically flipped him for an all-pro. And in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say it for y'all right now, so y'all go ahead and chub. Potential defensive player of the year in Micah Parsons.
Yep. Oh, yeah. If he can get healthy, absolutely. The dude had 12 sacks last year. I'm sorry to the Cowboys fans. I'm just going to clown on him for a minute. He had 12 sacks in 13 games last year. You're going to miss him. And if you don't think you're going to miss him, your defense was – I get it. Your defense was terrible anyways, but you're going to miss him.
What's y'all's record? What's y'all's team record in sacks?
Ooh. Is it Reggie? That is a good question.
Real quick.
Dang.
Yeah, see, the Bears fan whipping out questions. Hey.
That's got to be Reggie.
Well, I'm sure it's Reggie, but
Tim
the
Harris
season
with
record.
19 and a half.
19.
Tim Harris, 19 and a half in 1989. Other than that, it was Reggie. We were right with 16 in 1998. Aaron Campman, who had a moment, had 15 and a half in 2006. I could see Micah getting, I don't know if he'll get 19 and a half, but I could see him beating Reggie, honestly. Zadarius had 13 and a half a few years ago with us. Clay had 13 and a half. Ezra Johnson in 1983 had 14 and a half. And then KGB had 13 and a half a couple times too.
Did you see the graphic? And there were 4 guys, I think, that had 50 plus sacks in their first 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Micah Parsons is that. And of course, so is Reggie White. Reggie White had 70. Reggie White was 20 sacks ahead of all.
It was so Reggie as good as he was with Green Bay, that Reggie White with Philly was like on a Lawrence Taylor level. It was just ridiculous.
And think about what he would have been able to do if they actually included his USFL stats.
Oh my word.
How many would he have? 220, 230?
Yeah. Bruce Smith would not be the leader. So
right.
And Bruce Smith's amazing. 200 sacks is ridiculous.
It's Bruce Smith.
But Reggie would be the number one. And Lawrence Taylor, if he lasted longer, and Deacon Jones was the other one too. But
yeah,
I think Micah, the thing with him that's special is the speed, man. And people I love after these trades, they wouldn't say this stuff before, but they're like, he's not great against the run. Well, that might be slightly true. He's a little undersized, but he also had 20 tackles for a loss as a rookie. Still had 12 in 13 games last year. Still had 2 forced fumbles last year. The dude is a game breaker. They just don't grow on trees. The other part of that's crazy is we traded for him at age 26.
Yeah.
He's might get better. Like, this isn't like Myles Garrett, as great as he is. He's like 30. Kenny Clark is about to be 30. We got a guy 4 years younger. The youngest team in the NFL just got younger and better. Yep. That never happens. That's what's. This is just. I'm just, man. I'm sorry, buddy, man.
You're good. I'm
definitely getting a 1 jersey. It's happening now that I know his number. It's gonna happen.
Well, like I was gonna say, is that the only way that really people nullified him as far as against the running game, they just ran away from him. Like if you watch any kind of clip, and when they ran towards him, he was double teamed, if not triple teamed sometimes. So, there was always a chip block, and Micah Parsons is small for a defensive end, but his main goal is just to get the quarterback. That is what he's being brought in to do. He's being brought in to add to your pass rush. That's what you want.
And he's going to give us a chance against the Phillies and the Detroits of the world. Detroit's offensive line took a hit too. I know they're getting all these guys back on defense, and I like the Isaac Tesla pickup for him, and Jameson was great. They've got all the weapons, but that offensive line that was their identity is depleted, and they lost both coordinators. There's no way. Like, I would be absolutely shocked if Detroit managed to win 15 games again. They're going to come down. It's just going to happen. 15 games is
10.
Huh?
I have them winning 10.
I think so too. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the Packers win 11 or 12 with
I
Micah.
have y'all at 12.
I think the Bears could squeak in with 9 if Caleb.
Have them at 9.
It just depends how long it takes Caleb.
You're naming all the numbers.
Let's do the Bears for a minute, Brady. If you're good with this,
yeah.
Let's all take a quick round. For me on the Bears, the biggest, and it's obvious, it just is how long it takes Ben Johnson for his for him to click with Caleb. Like if Caleb, I need to see if the dude can process the field. It's a similar thing with Jordan Love, but there was a lot of mistakes as a rookie, which are going to happen. But if the dude is going to end up being that guy for the Bears, it's how long he's going to take to understand Ben Johnson's system, because they've got all the talent. The offensive line is there. Swift is solid. He's not like a game breaker, but all the toys they got on offense. I question, Matt, I don't know if you feel the same way. How do you feel about y'all's defense?
I think our defense is actually pretty decent, especially with the fact that we got a brand new defensive coordinator in Dennis Allen. The one thing I can say about New Orleans is, yeah, they sucked on offense, but their defense the last few years with Dennis Allen as their head coach was always a top 10 defense. So bringing him into the mix and him having his stamp on that defense is going to actually increase it. We do have one of the better secondaries in the league. Mm-hmm. And, our linebackers are actually pretty solid. Front line, I wish that we would have got another pass rusher opposite of Sweat, but, maybe next year. Maybe next year's draft, we'll get that. And
I understood your pain until about a few days ago.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. But it's kind of like you're sitting here and we finally won one against y'all.
You got to just relish that because they may not
have got to because
enjoy that.
It's going to be tough, but
yeah,
as far as Caleb Williams is concerned, he struggled a little bit. But you look at who his head coach was. It was a defensive-minded guy. He's arguably probably one of the worst coaches in NFL history. Like I had the term used, flused. We've been flused. And, it's just one of those deals. He still threw for 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and over 3,500 yards with a crummy coach. Mm-hmm. And, I just think that it depends on how long it takes Ben Johnson's system to sink into him, but usually it takes about 2 years, so that's how
I think people be a little patient, not just expect Caleb to fully blossom this year. It's kind of like Love. You just want to see a little bit more consistency and see the potential, which you saw a little bit of first year. People need to be a little more patient. Brady, what do you think? How do you think the division stacks, and what do you think of we already talked about that, but what do you think of the Bears this year?
Yeah. I immediately, what came to my mind was exactly what you said was, how I think the Bears made a really smart move. I don't think there's any guarantee that, because he was a great offensive coordinator, it's going to be a great head coach, but I thought that was a really sharp move. Yes, and, I had defended Caleb as much as I hate to do it and hate to say it even more, maybe, I don't know, but they're, Packer Nation, we're always, the Bears suck and, this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute, this kid can play. And so, yeah, I think he's in a really good spot in that regard. So to answer your question, though, for me, and I don't know the answer to this question, so I'll defer to Med, but, the Packers have been good for a long time. They're able to get their quarterback. But the other thing that they're able to do is, regardless of round, they're able to build offensive lines that are either very, very good or dominant, especially in the passing game. Look at the Detroit Lions. They started getting better when they got their offensive line shored up, and all they did is they could trade Matthew Stafford away, and of course he goes and gets a Super Bowl, but you can plug in, you can buy a quarterback at that point, which, most of us assume you can't do. I mentioned that for the Packers too, before Jordan Love came along. But my thing would be, I guess, then is if the Bears have found a way to protect that kid, I think he's a dangerous player. I still think against Green Bay now with Micah Parsons, I think that might be a pretty rough day for him. But it sure is a learning experience. And, the kid even the first game against, he marched the ball right down the field. He's got the right mentality. He's got the physical tools. He, at times, from my opinion, which, I'm really outside looking in as far as that goes, but obviously, he made these rookie mistakes. Who doesn't? Jordan Love did too. But if they can protect him, they're gonna win games. Yeah, with that offense and like you say, a solid defense. Can you imagine? I mean, imagine you take Caleb Williams and the Bears and plunk them down into another, like the NFC South or something. Look at the across the board, the defensive backfields are formidable in this division. The pass rush is there. That's where, like, Green Bay, we're feeling like we finally got a leg up because we're looking at Rashawn Gary. We drafted him number 12, and Aiden Hutchinson's over here. We're going, dang, that dude's a freaking phenom, So for me, it's if they can protect Caleb Williams, then their defense, I would suspect, would keep them in plenty of games.
I think so too. I think I was curious because I think the Bears have some holes, but they've got some serious ballers on multiple levels of the defense. I like Jalen Johnson. I was shocked he didn't make the NFL top 100, but you got Montez Sweat as well. The linebackers are solid. I think the defense, it's really going to come down to how well Ben Johnson can coach overall, but I think just not having Eberflus is going to be impressive. We talked about Rashawn Gary. Okay. So the other team I want to talk mostly Packers, but I want to be fair to Med because I know he's not a Packers fan. But what are y'all expecting from the Vikings this year? Since we're on the NFC North. I've got a big JJ McCarthy question. Like, it doesn't start easy either. I mean, like, he has got weapons, but Jordan Addison is suspended for 3 games, so they had to go back and get Thielen, who can still play, even though he's getting up there. I don't know. I feel like they're going to be one of the biggest regression teams in the NFL, coming down from 14 wins with JJ. I'm thinking like 8, 9. Maybe they can get to 9 and 8 if JJ is great, but it's going to take a minute, like it's going to with Caleb. But this dude hasn't played an NFL snap. It rarely comes easy. He still has Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, and a pretty good defense. But I love O'Connell, but I just think they may finish last in the division. Brady, what are you thinking on this one?
I would not be one bit surprised if the Vikings don't finish last. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't vie for, if McCarthy plays really well. I think their coaching staff that they got in, I hate to say it, but they're really good. They've been able to kind of caught lightning in a bottle last year. So I would expect some drop off and then did JJ come off an ACL too?
Yep. ACL tear last August.
Yeah. That might take some time. And is it Bears Vikings week 1 for you guys, Med?
It is.
Yeah. I would not. I mean, boy, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if the Bears don't start 1-0.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. Because you've got, the Vikings are going to have to, Aaron Jones is going to have to carry that team for a little bit, I think, because
I think so too. And
maybe TJ Hawkinson comes in quite a bit. I don't know that the Justin Jefferson connection will be there right away. Once it is, though, or if it, comes right away, that team can be dangerous too. There's not a whole lot of reason for me to think that they're going to take a step back other than they got a rookie quarterback. That's usually a tough road to hoe. And you look at the rest of the NFC North, and it looks even worse for him. Now Micah Parsons comes into the division, and if I was going to call it right now, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'd probably say, Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings.
That's what I'm thinking too. And I'm thinking there's a chance that all 4 make the playoffs. I doubt it. Yeah, Vikings, Bears are Monday night. There's a lot of bad matchups on Sunday morning, but you get Bills, Ravens Sunday night. You get I think the Bears, Vikings is going to be pretty good Monday night. Thursday night, Cowboys, Eagles won't be a good game, but it'll be fun, hopefully. The Eagles might win by 25, who knows. But you got Chiefs, Chargers on Friday night too. There's some good matchups this weekend.
That's in Brazil.
It's a Brazil game. I think if JJ can get it going, there's a chance you got all 4 teams at 9 and 8 or higher, and there's a possibility you get 3 wild cards out of the NFC North. I'm going to be curious how it happens. Sorry, buddy, Peter. It's not going to happen. I don't see it. I've had some people tell me the Packers are still going to miss the playoffs, and I'm keeping receipts this year. I want the Packers not making the playoffs. I want to see that because even Med can admit it. It's not going to happen. So, what's y'all's? We could pivot to some other teams. I'm cool. Like, we could do the Bears again, or some. I got some other questions about them, but
I do have some information on the Minnesota. So, I mean, I think what they're going to do is they're actually going to lean on that running game. I mean, they went out and got Jordan Mason from San Francisco. They went and signed Ryan Kelly and Will Fries from the Colts, which was a big reason why they were number 8 in rushing last year. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to really lean on their running game more than anything and really help out their offense and their defense. I mean, they got Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrove. I mean, those are 2 really good defensive tackles that they're trying to shore up on. And last year, I mean, I know a lot of Viking fans are like, "Oh yeah, we're real close. We're about to do it and everything like that." Skull, but you had a lot of teams make comebacks on you. And it's got to hurt a little bit. I mean, 5 of your wins were against the AFC, but we played the AFC South. Everyone was beating them. And, this year you're playing the AFC North. So,
which is interesting because I'm curious how good the AFC North is actually going to be this year. The Bengals don't have
the second best division behind ours.
I believe in the Ravens. What other team do you really buy in that division, though? Like, I'm not saying that they're all scrubs.
I like the Bengals.
Yeah, I
like the Bengals offense.
I like the Bengals offense. I don't like their offensive line, but Burrow. The reports are that Burrow is he's smoking it right now. He's so. At the end of last season, name a quarterback like that dude could will his team to victory last year.
Yeah,
but
they'll finish around 9 wins. They just have one of the worst defenses in the league. If that defense improves, the Bengals could be scary. I just don't buy that. Yeah, they kept him. I thought that's the guy we would go after. Actually, that's what's funny. We got the younger guy. I don't buy the Steelers with Rodgers and the Browns. I mean, we could talk about the Browns. So it's going to be a solid division. You might get 2 playoff teams out of it. I just don't. I think it's for me. I'm biased. I just don't see a 40, almost 2-year-old Aaron Rodgers doing very well. He doesn't look like he can move much anymore. We'll see. That could be interesting. But what do you guys think the Packers' biggest question mark or weakness is moving into the season that you need to see? Matt, you want to start this one? Is it Jordan Love? Is it the receivers that dropped the ball a million times last year?
33 times.
Jeez, man. See, it was kind of a season.
Leave it to a Bears fan.
Love was number. He got the number. He's got his screen of Packers crap up.
No. I before we hopped on, I did some quick cramming for basically every NFC North team because that's what I do. So. Really and truthfully, your biggest question mark, you kind of want to say, would you say on the field? I would say defensive coordinators. I think the cornerbacks are actually pretty straight. In all honesty, I think that with the pass rush that you are going to have now, that it's going to actually cover that up. But like Brady touched up on the field, I would say it is your defensive tackles because they're kind of a question mark with them. What are they going to be able to do? The biggest question mark that I have to say would be, what is the coaching going to do? Last year y'all went 1-5. We're real close to being 0-6, but we got flused. And, you just want to be able to actually see if they learn from the situations. You had a brand new defensive coordinator next year. He has another year that is under his belt, so he has that NFL experience. Really, truthfully, to me, it would be the coaching because I think y'all by far have the most talented team in the NFC North right now.
Coaching is interesting because I like LaFleur. I could see it because Kevin O'Connell is pretty special. That's a good take. I like it. I like Hafley. I'm curious. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with all the toys on the defense now. Brady, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was as good an answer as I could give. I will throw this in. I do think it's going to be a big factor how quickly Matthew Golden and Jordan Love click in this offense, because we're going to be running the ball, especially I think week 1 we're going to rely on it a lot. But that kid needs to go out there and show that speed off, so that teams take note of the fact that we can't just suck up into the box and deal with Josh Jacobs. We've got to be concerned about this kid. Every, report we're getting out of training camp, every little clip and snippet that we see points to the fact that, he's catching everything, which, is hopefully that notion sort of catches on in our wide receiving core.
Catching the ball. Yeah.
Yes,
catch the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
You catch
when
the
you're
ball.
a wide receiver.
Gosh.
And so I did make the my hot take was that it's a 9-route, golden 9-route first play from scrimmage, just like Christian Watson when he first played his first rookie snap, and he catches it this time. But
I remember that play.
Yeah,
Rodgers was so ticked.
Yeah, but the Packers are going to have to establish that before teams are really going to. The kid's a rookie; he's going to make his share of mistakes too.
Yes.
And so it doesn't come off as a question mark in terms of what do they, if they don't fix it, are they going to lose games? But it is a question mark in the sense that if he comes on, then wait till Christian Watson comes back. There's this wide receiver group has been underrated and at times proved itself to be much better than its kind of draft stock. And then last year, 33 drops. You just wonder what the hell's going on at sometimes. So now you draft a guy in the first round. I still don't have this feeling of need that we have to have this number 1 wide receiver like everybody does, because Devontae Adams, when Aaron Rodgers was, overthrowing Lazard in favor of triple covered Devontae Adams, that doesn't help the team either. I like the way Jordan Love spreads the ball around, but we do have to do something to make sure we establish Golden. And I sure hope that goes well, because I really like the kid, and I think he's a fantastic athlete, and I love the pick.
Well, you also need to have a guy that gets that. It's not about a number 1. It sort of is, but it's more about a guy that you can go to in clutch situations. Like the Philadelphia Eagles still had that AJ Brown, and I love Devonta Smith. He can do that. Goddard, when healthy, is unique. We've got a Tucker Kraft, but it helps
Kraft
to have it.
I love Kraft.
Yeah,
Kraft might be it.
Dobbs,
the Loveland pick. Dobbs is interesting. I want to see if we can. It's just has been so many flashes, Brady, I think. And man, I'm sure you've seen this too, where we see it, we're like, 150 yards. This guy's he's like Jaden Reed in the opener last year. He had 2 or 3 games like that. Then I think his ankle was messed up, and it didn't seem like it felt like play calling as well. It felt like the training wheels were put back on when Jordan Love was banged up. Like the offense almost flowed better when Malik Willis was in, but we played some trash defenses, just being honest. The Tennessees and the Jacksonvilles of the world aren't game breakers. But AFC South, baby.
I will say this about the whole wide receiver situation and the go-to guy. I do completely agree. If it's Matthew Golden, I think that's the very best thing for this team right now, because we've got decisions to make about everybody else. Christian Watson can't stay healthy. Romeo Dobbs walks off the job. Jaden Reed faded, got hurt and faded. So I definitely think if that's Matthew Golden and he's catching everything, he certainly should have a chance to be that go-to guy, just like you described.
I'm also curious about Savion Williams. Man, I don't know how much you've scouted this kid, but I want to see. He reminds me of Deontay Thornton a little bit from the Raiders, where it's game-breaking ability. I want to see if he can. The route tree is consistent, and he's breaks the mold of the other receivers. Like Med said, a lot of the guys we have are the same size. Now, the good thing about Golden is he's a lot faster than the rest of them. But
I don't think he's faster than your number 1 receiver, Cole Hardman.
Oh, who's not even on the roster? Who we cut? That's hilarious. That was good. Well played. We actually cut him. He's not even on the team anymore. It's funny.
He made the team. Yeah.
He ain't on the team anymore?
No, we cut him. He was on the last
wow.
Cuts. Yeah.
And
we also cut Isaiah
I guess
Simmons.
I'll go ahead and bring down y'all's record prediction. No.
Yeah, bring it down. 2 wins. I guess just wasn't cutting as a returner, which is what he was going to have to do.
Yeah.
But the Savion thing, though, the other thing I like about this Brady, is me and Med have talked about this, is he's bigger. He's a big target. Golden's on the shorter side. A lot of the receivers we have, other than Christian Watson, are about 6 feet. Savion gives us a different ingredient, a different, like, you're throwing some pepper, you're throwing some paprika, and you've got different ingredients to mix this in. Golden, I think, has the potential to, if he's going to take time. He started blossoming last year. The other guy I'm really watching is Savion. I want to see if he gets playing time. If all these other receivers are banged up and continuing to have errors, I think Savion gets on the field this year.
Yeah, I think he may have a shot, Sunday. The thing about him, his body control is off the charts. And, the kid, is scoring touchdowns at quarterback. He's running. He can do it all, so then he gets labeled a gadget player. This is a guy that when he's off, it's mind boggling. But when he's on, he does some stuff, and he is acrobatic. His change of direction and his body control are off the charts. And in open space, I'd love to dump one off to him and just let him see what he can do with it. Yeah. He's very, very intriguing.
This is where the coaching comes in with LaFleur, because there was question marks about that. I don't question his leadership abilities. I question his in-game situations and play calling at times. And I want to see how long it takes to get all these different weapons in tune, because that was the biggest thing last year. Is it felt like a machine other than the running game that wasn't firing on all cylinders. There were, receiver drops, love injuries. There was other factors, but Jason just threw a really good one in. How do you think Aaron Rodgers feels with the Packers drafted receiver in the first round and trade for Micah Parsons?
I think you're going to see him week 8.
I don't listen.
Yeah, we're going to see him.
Aaron, I got a message for Aaron. You've got nothing to complain about with Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. I don't give a rat's what round they came in. He had plenty of excellent wide receivers. Yeah.
Yes, he did. He always had a number one. We haven't had a number one since Devontae left. That's the thing for Cowboys fans. I'm sorry. You lost Micah. You know how hard it's going to be to replace him? You're going to find out, because those 4 picks probably aren't going to produce a Micah. They just don't grow on trees. Devontae Adams don't grow on trees either. He was 30 when we let him go, and we've been missing him since. We just have, honestly. Our receivers have been. Yeah, he really has. He's. I feel happy for him that he finally found a solid team in the Rams. He had a little detour with the Raiders and the Jets. That's unfortunate for him. I agree with my dad here. This Brady, I don't know if you've seen Savion's hands. It's a lot like our other receivers. Not named Matthew Golden, hopefully. So hopefully changes in the NFL.
Yeah, but at the same time, he is capable. You watch him twist on a back shoulder at the last second that's badly thrown and make that catch. Yeah, he needs to get behind the jugs machine like Dobbs or whatever, a couple 200-300 times a practice. And
chisel away that brick.
Get Dontavian Wicks in there too, because I'm tired of watching him get open and drop a pass.
Yeah, and watch Matthew Golden, because he's like the quintessential hands catcher.
And what I like about Golden is you don't see 4.29. Like I watched the Houston tape. Andy Herman came on in July and he was telling me to watch the Houston tape, and I did. And what I really liked, by the way, you were right, Brady, it was an awesome show. But what I like about him is you don't see 4.29 consistently, but you do see him getting consistent separation, not just in highlight tape. He's always getting open, which is great for us because we already have guys that do that. Now we just need guys, like you said, that catch the ball. So I agree with my dad, by the way, too. Who cares what Rodgers thinks?
And I don't know, I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly what people mean when they say I don't see 4.29 speed on the field. But you're not going to see in a football play, you're not going to get up to 4.29 speed. 4.29 speed is basically you're punching like a boxer every single arm stroke, and you are focusing on linear motion, to get that speed down there. And maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm running a route and I'm looking for a ball. My track speed is not, it doesn't happen that way. Ask a sprinter. They literally, like boxers punch 5 times their body weight. That's what sprinters are doing with their arms, So when you turn and you arm bar, your speed has to go down. But anyway, and maybe I'm over
And with pads,
that.
and with pads too.
That in.
No, that's really good take because with pads, they always say, "What's his football speed?" But that was a really good breakdown. I like that. Med laughs at this. I have to do it every show. I have no bladder, but JC has a question for both y'all. I'll be right back it'll be quick. But what do you think about I can't last an hour anymore. I'm getting old.
Hey, Med, Isaac's not going to be here for the next 30 seconds. I don't think we're answering this question.
Well, Med, you can start it. Go ahead. What do you think about the Bears?
I mean, I would say the best 3 moves that we did is we got Zach Ias that was signed on from, I believe, the Washington Commanders. Good slot guy and a big reason why Scott got let go. Tunney, who was brought in with a 4th-round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs, really does kind of balance out at least the guard situation. And, you know, I really do like the Luther Burden pick. I think he was severely underrated because of his quarterback issues that he had at Mizzou. I think he can be that guy, similar, not quite as fast as what Matthew Golden with that 4.29 40 is, but I think he will be able to actually do a lot of things for us.
Hey, Brady, that was really funny. You're the first person to call me out on it. I love it.
I'm glad you did. I call him out.
You know what? You should. I drink one of these whole things.
I mean,
you should pee before you get on.
I do.
Yeah. Just pee in it. It's half empty, and then you won't drink anymore. You are swinging the door wide open when you leave the set, man. I was about to just go walking tall. You're right.
People could say anything they want. That is a really good point. No one's ever done it because I've watched back over my shows or I listen to them. But that is so true. You could say anything you want.
I will say you were pretty quick though.
Oh, yeah. I try. Well, here's the thing. I try.
He has the smallest bladder in the world. That's why.
I have TBS. I
call him the gerbil bladder.
My dad's even watching. He's making fun of it. Isaac, you got to hold that. Me and my wife joke. I have TBS, but not the station. I have tiny bladder syndrome.
Yeah.
So your dad's actually asking a question. I think all 3 of us need to take a pop at this because I think we're going to have 3 different answers.
This one?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go first here really quick. What needs to happen is the receivers need to pan. There's a few I'm going to try to think about 3 big things. Love and Parsons have to stay healthy. The receivers that drop total needs to be half of what it was last year. And I need to see someone be the go-to guy in clutch situations. I don't care. I would prefer it be Golden, like Brady said. But I think that you have to, every team has that guy. The Chiefs had it with Travis Kelce. There's a reason that they didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Kelce is no longer, he might regain that this year, but he's no longer that elite weapon in go-to situations. You have to have that guy. And I think the last thing is we need to see if LaFleur, I hate to be like an ESPN segment here, but I need to see LaFleur win some playoff games. I want to see if he can bring it up a notch in the playoffs. Not just as a play caller, but as a leader. Like he's done pretty well in his tenure. I mean, it's 2-1. Brady, what's his winning percentage? Like he's 2-1, right? 67% as a head coach.
I don't know off the top.
In the regular season, he has a great winning percentage, but in
regular season, he's Lombardi-esque. Yeah, he's Hall of Famer. I mean, if Matt LaFleur wins 1 Super Bowl, he is going
67,
to be in the conversation. You know,
even in the playoffs, if you add playoffs, and he's 70 and 38, but regular season, he's at 100 games, 67 and 33, so 67 win percent. That's freaking incredible.
Yeah,
but I need to start seeing it translating into postseason wins. It's really going to come. I think those are the 3 biggest things for me.
Yeah, am I next?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's number 1. That's a fantastic question, and I'm going to stay away because it really is true that the health of these teams. That's why, like 2 years ago, when Jordan Love was playing so great the second half of the season, and Aaron Jones came back, I thought we could go the distance then. But I'm going to stay away from that as part of the answer, which makes it really it's really difficult. If you're not throwing in the health of somebody.
Uh-huh.
But I think number one for me, because the quarterback's the most important player in the sport. I think if we see more of second half of 2023, Jordan Love, whatever it was, and less of just those few decisions that were not right. And that goes to the playoff as well, Isaac, because I think we would have, there are games we could have won in the playoffs too.
Absolutely.
I think Jordan Love is going to make, a handful of decisions going up to a playoff potential run and in the playoffs that are either going to make or break our chances for a deep Super Bowl run. That's number one. Number two, this came to me just now and I love it. We got a kicker, and that is we're one of these games. We're going to get past somebody, just like Mason Crosby took us past the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. That's, I think, going to be it generally isn't that important, but I think that might factor into us in a deep run in the playoffs and or Super Bowl. I mean, what was it? The San Francisco game where we, other than the interception, we were on our way back with just enough time to kick a field goal. And I forget if that was to tie it or to win it. So that's number two. This is such a great question. I could sit and talk about this for like an hour.
I know it's good. My dad threw a good one in. So did
that's a great one.
So
What's
did Jason? Tom Valenti.
Tom, great question, Tom. Number three, I'm gonna switch to the defense.
Yeah, I wanted to leave some meat on the bone for you guys.
Gosh, but I can't. Like,
it's so
okay.
much,
I'm not
right?
going to switch to the defense because I'm going to assume something, and this may very well prove to be wrong. Like one injury, who knows? But I'm going to assume if you've got Rashawn Gary and you've got Lucas Van Ness, who for all intents and purposes has improved and is healthy.
I hope so.
Was not last season. You've got Edger and Cooper, and you brought in Micah Parsons. You got Xavier McKinney on the back end. You got a couple of perimeter corners that can play the game, one that you brought in. I'm going to assume, like I said before, I see no excuse for this defense not to be dominant. Now, in the North, those offenses are great. All these offenses are great. So I'm going to switch back to the offensive side, and this is something I've been calling upon, and I just mentioned it we talked about even the Vikings. Their offensive line has improved, and now they are suddenly, even with a rookie quarterback, potentially a pretty decent team. The Lions built their offensive line. I think the Packers making the decision to make Elton Jenkins their center and to bring in the guys they brought, I think this offensive line could be, look at Detroit has 3 brand new starters. There is no promises in the interior of that offensive line. They asked Dan Campbell about it, and he said, I think they did great once they got a month in or whatever. I think they're doing great, but I think they also, what was the phrase he used? They also have a lot to learn. And then he has to turn around and say, and that's a good thing. No, it's not a good thing. It's a better thing if your offensive line before you start in week 1 has already learned the thing. Like, that's better all the time. So I do believe, and I've said this all along, Brian Gutekunst for 3 years in a row when he became our GM, drafted 3 offensive linemen every single year. He's brought in veterans just about every year. He brought in veterans this year. We've got guys that I think can make this offensive line honestly the best in the NFC North. And if you got Jordan Love making good decisions behind that and Josh Jacobs running the ball, I see no reason why we shouldn't, against any team, including the Philadelphia Eagles, whose defense put on a show in the Super Bowl last year, to be able, because they were playing the Chiefs. They weren't playing us. We already put up a relatively decent showing against them. And have you seen what Micah Parsons did to Jalen? I mean, he is a game wrecker.
Yes,
so those would be the 3 things for me, is Jordan Love making those handful of decisions right rather than wrong, kicking that 1 or 2 field goals. Maybe it's 2 field goals for 6 that we force a 4 and out to lose the game because they can't kick a field goal to win it. And then that offensive line improving, I think, really are with the expectation on my part that this defense should be better.
Especially after getting Anthony Belton and then going out and spending money on Banks in the offseason too.
Yeah.
They invested heavy draft capital and free agency money on the offensive line. So it really does That
And
was a question
seeing
mark
them
last year.
healthy-
Love was banged up. That was one of the question
Yeah.
marks.
Yeah, and seeing them healthy, like because they were like during the preseason, it was like, oh my goodness, this is getting really bad. Like I thought this was a deep group, and we're like everybody's sitting out, so they got to stay healthy too.
I like it. Med, I've got one more question for everybody, but I want you to take a shot at this. Let me pin the question back up. What do the Packers need to do to go on a Super Bowl run this year?
The very first thing they need to do is they need to progress even more on that defense. You switched over from a 3-4, which y'all ran since the Dom Capers era, all the way up until
that's a name that we don't bring up on this show. I don't want to hear about Dom Capers anymore.
Oh, that's why I'm a Bears fan. I go and bring him up. But I mean, y'all actually did really well with going over to a 4-3. Usually it takes a couple of years. Now you got another year under that belt. You should be able to progress. A lot of people expect Micah Parsons to be able to shoot out like Cannon, which he probably will. But also at the same time, he has to be able to learn y'all's system, and as well as the new players that y'all have brought in that are going to be taking up new roles. Wyatt, Nazir that we were talking about earlier. Number two, Brady nailed it. I mean,
yep.
Really need to keep Jordan Love upright. Malik Willis, he did great for y'all. He went 3-0 for y'all last year with a 124.3 quarterback average and 3 touchdowns against no interceptions, which is pretty impressive. But at the same time, he is not Jordan Love. He's nowhere near Love as far as a passer goes, and you need him to be able to sit up upright. The third thing I would actually have to say, and this actually is not under y'all's control, but Philadelphia, there needs to be a few injuries on their side. In my opinion, I think they actually got better in the offseason with some of the additions, especially future Hall of Famer Jahad Campbell from Alabama. He's going to be one of those guys that is going to be a monster in the NFL. And I mean, you already know about Deshaun Cooper and all them other guys, Cooper Deshaun, and a few other people that they drafted that y'all didn't get that you really wanted. But that defense is going to be hella scary as far as Philadelphia is concerned. And I think y'all are going to be a great matchup for them in the NFC Championship.
Oh, I like that NFC Championship. Good stuff, guys. All right, Brady, I could go for another hour, but I'm trying to keep my shows around an hour, and Med works early. I've got one last question for everybody. I'll go last. It could be your team. What is the biggest thing you're hoping to see this season? And I'm going to throw away before I ask this question. I want to see the one other factor that's huge. We just assume, but Josh Jacobs needs to have another season, a dominant season like last year. He's done this his career. I'm not expecting to drop off. His offensive line may have improved. The supporting cast on offense is probably likely improved, but Jacobs we're going to have to lean on him at times. And I'm not saying he has to have 1,300 yards again, but I need to see the same Josh Jacobs I saw last year. And I think that that's very likely to happen. He was with the Raiders first several seasons of his career, but Jacobs is another X factor that has to be. He was one of our best players last year. He's going to have to do that again. Okay. Here's my question for you guys. Thank you, by the way, for everybody watching. I just want to give some quick shout outs. My dad, Queen of the Premiere. I'm loving all these comments. This is awesome. Coke Zero. I agree. I got my Coke Zero bottle right here. Okay. What is the biggest thing you're hoping to see this season? We've already hit all this stuff. But if you had your dream scenario, I think it's going to be like, winning a Super Bowl. But what would be the thing that's a little unexpected that you're hoping to see this year from either your favorite team or a fantasy guy? Ned, you want to take this one first? What are you hoping for the Bears, or just something in general you're really hoping to see that you would love to see to come to fruition in your final thoughts here?
What I would like to actually see for my team is just progress. That's really the one thing that I really want. I mean, they've been asking us to be patient for the last 40-something years since the last time we really crushed it. But, I just want to see my team progress from where they're at right now, get better, and hopefully in the next couple of years. And one thing I do not want to see is Detroit win a Super Bowl. If Detroit wins the Super Bowl, the apocalypse will be upon us. They just don't know how to deal with it. You would have thought they won the Super Bowl last year, and then they got curb stomped, and it was great. I became a Commanders fan just because of that game. So, I hope for progress, and screw you Lions fans.
I don't think the Lions are winning the Super Bowl. I think they're taking a big step back. It's not happening, but they need to soon because it's hard to stay at the top of the mountaintop. Yeah, it's true. Staying healthy is a whole. I like it. It's funny, man, and your answer is kind of similar to mine. I just want to see progress. That's it. Like, I felt like even though we won 2 more games last year, I actually felt like in some ways we showed less progress than the year before. I felt like we kind of had stagnation. So I'd like to not see that. I want to see growth from – it's a broad answer, but I want to see growth from some of the young players on my team. Golden is a rookie. You can only have so much expectations, but I think you're going to see him make an impact. I want to see those other guys that were supposed to make an impact last year, not just the receivers, but there were some guys on the roster that I didn't see the growth, and I think that's partly coaching. Brady, what are you thinking?
I mean, well, aside from the Packers bringing home that Lombardi trophy and bringing it back where it belongs, which is every team, every fan of every team's goal in the league. It is clear to me, if I had one, if there's one thing I'm looking for when you bring in a generational talent, I want to see the rising tide raise all boats. If Micah Hyde comes in, Micah Hyde, number one, is that rising tide. He is the gold standard in the NFL. I mean, he is as good as it gets. And if guys around him elevate, we've got a pretty good defense anyway.
Uh-huh.
If guys around us elevate around what Micah Parsons is capable of doing, that's part of the reason I expect to see really good things. Again, it might take a little time just because he's got to get involved, but I see zero excuses for that defense not to go out there and truly show that it is one of those defenses that people remember for generations.
If we flame out in the playoffs, do you think there's any chance LaFleur? I don't, but that's an interesting thought because I've heard more than just Janae say it. If, let's say we go 12-5 or a 1 or 2 seed and we lose in the wild card game, or we do what Detroit did last year, we're the number 1 seed and we get bounced in the divisional. Do you think there's any chance LaFleur gets fired if we have a great regular season and flame out in the playoffs?
No,
I don't either.
I don't think, the new president, I could see him using that as his evaluation for the following year and that being the deciding year. But I mean, Matt LaFleur has coached this team at a Lombardi-esque level. But yeah, I mean, the point being now there are no excuses, but I wouldn't think it would be after if this year it doesn't work out, I would think he would have until the following year.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 2 to 3 year window here. Yeah. Like I don't even think it's a Super Bowl or bust window. I think they're just going to be looking for some postseason success, which he's had in the past. He's gone to conference championships. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that would be like if you bounced out of the playoffs early, it would be severely disappointing. It certainly would. And it would be call for, hey, listen, this has to get better at this point. But we always need, and I keep reminding people this, just be careful what you wish for. The next guy could be Matt Eberflus for all we know. Just be careful.
I would prefer to keep a LaFleur, even though I think there are a few coaches better. Like I really like Kevin O'Connell. You're unlikely to get a better guy than LaFleur. I just want to see, I think it's going to take him a minute to figure out this team too, because it's such a young roster. It still is growing. That was some really good stuff, guys. Brady, I'm going to kick it to you. Any final thoughts on the Packers at all that you want to drop, and where people can find your show and what you've got coming up?
I do my daily shows. I'll be back to every weekday at 1:00 Eastern, noon Central. Thoughts on the season? It's just, we got to sit back as Packer fans and just enjoy it. These things don't come by this often.
No, they don't.
And this is a team that is going to build steadily, but pull the trigger when they think they've got when they've got somebody in their sights that they think can really make a difference. And Micah Parsons is the definition of that in the NFL at his age. His
26.
birthday's not till May 26th when he turns 27. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's never going to be perfect. All these teams are good. And we're in the NFC North. That's even worse. Like it's going to be, and we've got a rough schedule. So, I mean, there's going to be a few ups and downs, but I think we really need to enjoy the ride. And we have there's a very distinct possibility that we get really treated to some special stuff this season.
I hope so. We start with Detroit. If we can squeak that one out, we have Washington and then Cleveland and Dallas. If we could start strong, that'd be huge. While Micah gets healthy and gets integrated, and the rookies that are going to be important. And I mean, with those other safeties we had last year, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard were rookies, and they were difference makers. Evan Williams was. We've got Edrin Cooper as well. We've got a lot of young guys that if they can just start getting integrated and start showing growth early, this team could be special. Med, I know you're going to be on the panel with me on Friday night. Any final Bears thoughts? Caleb Williams over under 25 TDs this year. What you thinking?
Some people are actually thinking that he's going to throw for over 30. I'm going to be a little bit more reserved on that. I say 27 TDs becomes possibly our first 4,000-yard passer, and that's about it.
It becomes TD. Wow. Parsons becomes the defensive tackle. I love it. I will be on a Michigan-based show tomorrow evening. And then I will be back with Med for a panel show, Brady. We'll be talking the rest of the NFC and the NFL.
Yeah,
But Brady, this was a lot of fun, man. But I love doing it with you too. This was awesome. I'd love to have you back on. Let's I want to let the season like brew a little bit, but I'm thinking like November, December. I'd like to bring you back on when we're like 12-2. And I want to see Med's face, how much color he's got when we're, the number one seed in the NFC. Hopefully his Bears have a winning record. Then he'll feel a little better.
I think we'll be all right.
I think you're going to be solid. I really like the Colson Loveland pickup. Really quick. Colson Loveland, Luther Burden. That's just not even fair. So hopefully y'all can figure this out. You gave Caleb all the toys. But, yeah, he would be happy. But thank you to all the people watching. Thank you, Dad. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, Janae. Thank you, especially to Peter. He had some fun comments. And Jason as well. And everybody else watching. Roman Dunze, I drafted him in a Dynasty League. But we'll be back on Friday evening. We're going to come on an hour early at 7 Eastern before the Chargers-Chiefs game. But Brady, thank you for hanging out with us. Matt, thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you guys soon.
All right, bye.